Guys, I hope you're all keeping well and safe. Welcome to Early Years Matters TV. On this channel, we focus on early childhood, we review toys, and we also give parenting tips. If these are the kind of things you're looking for, what you have to do, subscribe, and not just subscribe, turn on your notification bell so that you'll be the first person to be notified each time a new video is being dropped on this channel. So on today's episode of Early Years Matters TV, I'm going to be talking about an early childhood educator interview questions and answers. Yes, so today I'm going to be talking about the 10 interview questions you could be asked if you're going for an interview as an early years educator. First, you need to give yourself a round of applause. Yes, you need to be proud of yourself that you're being called for an interview. With a lot of people that have applied for this particular position, you're called for interview. So you should be so proud of yourself that you're called for the interview. But I would like you to know that as you're being called for the interview, you're competing against other people. Yes, you need to understand that for this role, this particular role, you're competing against other people. It's not only you. So it's a survivor of the fittest thing. So you need to go on and let them know, why do they have to pick you for this job? Why do you deserve to be picked for this job? So I'm going to be going through the 10 possible questions that you could be asked when you attend a job interview for the role of an early childhood educator. Question number 1, tell me about yourself. Yes, this question is common. Mostly all the jobs interview, we ask the question, tell me about yourself. So I will give you a few examples of the ways you could tell them about yourself. So for you to answer this question, you start by telling them your name. Yes, so you tell them your name, tell them the experiences that you have. So I would also like you to know that in relation to the experiences that you have, try to link it with the role that you're going for, early childhood educator. So also look at it when you ask them the question of, tell me about yourself. Look at these 3 points. Tell them about yourself in the past. Who are you in the past? Who are you in the present? And who are you going to be in the future? So try to link it with the experience, okay? In relation to early childhood educator, where have you worked in the past in the area of early childhood? Where are you presently now as related to the role of an early childhood educator? And where do you see yourself in the future as an early childhood educator? So this is important. So look at it when you're telling them about yourself. Look at it from who you are in the past, who you are in the present, and who you are in the future. So you tell them about yourself. For instance, you could start by saying your name, tell them your name. For the past 5 years, I've been working in the area of early childhood, and in the nearest future as well, I also see myself working in the area of early childhood. So if you want to tell them about yourself as well, you could tell them about the qualifications that you have that is related to the role of early childhood educator. So tell them your experiences, your education, tell them about your qualifications, your training that you have in the area of early childhood. And when you do this, you've definitely asked the question of, tell us about yourself. All right. The second question you could be asked is, what are your strengths and weaknesses? Yes, you should be prepared for this type of question as well. What are your strengths and your weaknesses? But I would like you to know that when you're answering these questions of your strengths and weaknesses, try to link it with the strengths that you have in relation to the role of early childhood educator. You could say, for instance, oh, you're calm, you have a non-judgmental approach, you've empathy. So you can see you've linked it to the role of the early childhood educator. And also in relation to your weaknesses, one thing I would like you to know is, do not shy away from talking about your weaknesses. I've seen in the past when people go for a job interview, when it comes to them talking about their weaknesses, they don't want to talk about it. But I know that, yes, you have a weakness. Everybody has a weakness. So do not shy away from talking about your weakness. So for instance, one of your weakness could be is reluctance to delegate tasks. Yes, sometimes people are like that. They find it difficult to delegate people to do tasks for them. They want to do things all by themselves. This is a weakness and you need to acknowledge it. You need to talk about it. You could start by saying, yes, one of my weaknesses, I really find it difficult sometimes to delegate tasks. I know this is a weakness and I acknowledge it. And they would look at it from the point of view that you're being open, you're telling them about your weakness. Being asked this question in an interview, what are your strengths and weaknesses? Do not shy away from discussing your strengths as well as your weaknesses. Take note of the second interview questions you could be probably asked. Okay. The question you could be asked is, why do you want to work with young children? Yes, you definitely be asked this question. Why do you want to work with young children? And how can you answer this question? It could be something that has happened to you in the past. Okay, for instance, you look at it and say, oh, you just love working with young children. It should be beyond just love working with young children. So you could say something such as you want to impact the lives of young children. You see yourself as somebody that would like to impact the lives of young children because you look prepare them for the future. And when you answer this question, it shows that yes, you definitely want to work with young children. Also say something such as when they ask you the question, why do you want to work with young children? You could say you're passionate about promoting the overall development of the child, the holistic development of the child, which early childhood is all about. So they would look at it from the point of, oh, you're passionate about working in this area. So try to think of it when you're being asked the question, why do you want to work with young children? Move beyond, oh, I just want to work with young children because I love working with young children. Yes, we know you love working with young children, but you need to take it on a bit further. You're passionate about promoting the overall development of the child. You love to impact the lives of young children. And then, all right. You could be asked is, why do you want to work with us? Yes, you could be asked the question, why do you want to work with them? So you need to take it further. For you to answer this question, you need to search the organization that you're going for a job interview. So look them online. It could be something you like about their setting. Maybe you love their approach. It could be a Montessori approach. It could be Froebel approach. It could be Steiner approach. You love their approach. So talk about it and say, oh, for instance, the reason why I want to work with you is because I love that you have a Montessori approach, and I see myself in the future as a Montessori teacher. I love your setting. You could be something such as your setting has a great reputation out there in terms of quality. Your setting ensure quality. So it's important that I should be part of this that promotes quality in early childhood. So you can see that you've already asked the question on why do you want to work for them. You could be asked is, give some reason why we should employ you. Yes, they would definitely ask this question to tell them why should they employ you. Like I said, maybe it's 10 people fighting for this position, so they want to know why should they give you this role. So you could think such as, oh, you're a great timekeeper, you keep to time, and give the examples of where you've kept to time in the past. You could say, oh, this is how you've been in the same job for the last 5 years, you're always on time except only in 1 or 2 instances when there was an emergency. So you can see that they look at you from the point of, oh, you're a great timekeeper. You could also say things such as planning for children's play. Give the scenario of where you plan for children's play. You could say, oh, Joanna, you are the room leader. You're in charge of planning for children's play. You take into consideration the children's interest. You observe them and you go about putting a plan in place. So you can see that you're telling them the reasons why they should employ you. So this will make you to stand out from other candidates. They look at it as, oh, sure, you're a great timekeeper. You're very good at planning children's play. So this is what they are looking for. So think of it when they ask you these questions, give them reasons why you should employ you. Think outside the box. What will make you to what will be that extraordinary things that others might not want to talk about that you have that you can talk about it. Interview is all about selling yourself. Show off. Let them know the skills that you have, why they should employ you for this role. Take note of this question as well. All right. You could be asked is, how would you describe your own pedagogy? Pedagogy is really important in early childhood. Pedagogy is all about your teaching style. So they want to know what teaching style that you have. So talk about your teaching style. Is it active learning? Do you use more of scaffolding? Do you use more of empowerment? Do you empower young children? So talk about your own strategies. Let them know your own pedagogy strategies that you're bringing into the setting. So you need to tell them your teaching style. Pedagogy is all about your teaching style. They want to know what teaching style. Is it group work? Is it active learning? Do you like the children to work together and sometimes you want them to work on their own? Is your pedagogy child-led? Is it emergent curriculum? Is it adult-led? Is it a mixture of both? So here they want you to talk about the teaching style, the style that you're going to be using to teach the children. Take note of this question as well. All right. You could be asked is, what are the things that you have to take into consideration when planning for children's play? Planning for children's play in early childhood is important. Here you're going to be telling them when you're planning for children's play, you observe the children to find out about their interest, what they like, their needs, and this will help you in relation to planning for children's play. So they also want to know the things that you have to take into consideration when planning for children's play. So think of how you could answer these questions. List the things that you have to do, the things you have to take into consideration before you go about planning for children's play. All right. Could be asked is, what would you do if a child presents with a challenging behavior? Yes, This question is common because you're going to be working with young children, and definitely young children will present with challenging behavior. So they want to see how you're going to approach this question. So you could say things such as, if it's is affecting other children, you're going to step in straight away as the educator in the room. You're going to talk to the child. You're going to step in. For instance, if a child is biting other children, it's not good situation. So then you have to step in straight away, take out that is biting, maybe take the child away from other children. And you could also say things such as, you have to talk to parents as well, because parents have the primary caregiver. You need to have a meeting with the parent, put a plan in place, and discuss it with the parent and say, okay, in relation to helping your child to navigate biting. So you could put a plan in place such as, you could give a child the suitor, you could check the environment to see, oh, what is the child biting? Does the child want attention? Does this child want a particular toy? That's why it's biting. Situation. What is really making the child to bite? So look at the situation from before the child is biting, even when the child is biting, and after the child is in process. Then you think of and put a plan in place in relation to how the strategy to stop the biting, and you engage the parent in the process as well. You have to work with the parent. Do not just look at it, oh, the child is coming to your setting to bite. So look at it from the point of view as, if the child is biting at home as well, so you need to help the child to navigate the state at home and so you need to discuss this with parents as well. All right. It could be asked, is your understanding of legislation in the country that you are? Yes. This question you are definitely going to be asked. For instance, I'm based in an Irish country, so you could be asked the question, your understanding of ASHA and SHILTA. So you need to tell them, for instance, here in Ireland, ASHA is the early childhood curriculum for children from birth to 6 years. So you need to tell them about your understanding of ASHA, the themes of ASHA. So you tell them about ASHA, what you know about ASHA, and SHILTA as well. You let them know that SHILTA ensure qualities in early childhood setting. So another question you could be asked is your understanding and legislation in your own country. Yes. Your understanding of policies and legislation. Yes, this is important because you're going to be working with young children. They need to know that you understand these policies, you understand this legislation, because it's from understanding these policies that they are them in your teaching. And lastly, another question is, any questions? Yes, definitely at the end of interview, you ask any questions. One thing I would like to tell you is that do not say, oh, there are no questions. I've seen this in the past. Any questions? No questions. You need to ask questions. Some of the questions you could ask the setting. Do they engage in training? Are there opportunities for promotion? When will you hear back if you're successful? So these are the questions that you could ask them when they ask the question, any questions. So do not leave that question unattended and say, oh, no questions, just because, oh, you're panicking, you're like, oh, you just want to go. So these are just 10 interview questions that you could be as an early childhood educator. And if you're being corporate, I wish you best of luck. And after watching this video, come back and leave the comment, can celebrate with you so that we can celebrate. Come your way next time. Stay safe and mind yourselves for now. Bye.